Bonjour from Bordeaux. I'm Rachel Dickinson, and I have the pleasure to be accompanied by Sandrine Garbay, General Director of Château Guiraud. We are in Sauternes, and it is truly a pleasure to be here at your chateau.
Thank you very much, and you are really welcome here. Happy to welcome you in Sauternes, to Sauternes, which is a very special appellation at the south of Bordeaux,
Yes.
where we produce beautiful sweet wines.
Yes. So, can you tell me about Château Guiraud and its history?
Yes, so it's of course very ancient winery and property, dating from the middle of 18th century, where Pierre Guiraud bought the estate, because it was already planted with vine. But at that time, Pierre Guiraud gave his name to the estate, and decided to give a new dimension to this winery. And finally, this winery was classified as first growth in 1855. As the beautiful red wines, as Mouton Rothschild, Lafite Rothschild. You have to know that in Sauternes there were 11 chateaux, 11 wineries which were classified as first growth, and Guiraud was one of them.
Yes.
So to tell you about the quality of this winery and this beautiful vineyard. And then there were a lot of different owners until 2006, where Robert Peugeot from the cars Peugeot in France bought the winery, until now, because he's still a shareholder of Guiraud. And in 22, a new owner became the major shareholder of Château Guiraud, and that was at the time that this man hired me to join Château Guiraud and to take over all the production of the estate. So we are now in the new age of the winery, because we want to give a new dimension to hospitality here, and we will build an hotel in the main house where we are here, and in the cellar, to take a little bit room in the cellar to make those 26 rooms for welcome people here. And the idea is to these people become new ambassadors for our wines and for Sauternes wines more generally, because we need to promote those sweet wines which are now less drunk. So we need to give a new aspect of this finally very modern wine, and people don't know that. So we need ambassadors to give this idea.
Yeah. And you have a very impressive background, 27 years at Château Guiraud. And I'm just curious to know, how did you get started in the wine industry?
So I'm born in Bordeaux, and I think that when you are born in Bordeaux, you are in a wine environment, but my family is not in wine business at all. Just my father is passionate by wine, and I think he gave me his passion to wine. And finally, I decided to learn enology at school, high school, of course. And just after my enology study, I have also a PhD in enology, and just after that I started at Château Guiraud as an enologist in charge of quality control at Château Guiraud.
Wow.
So first experience in sweet wine winemaking, in sweet winemaking. Very special.
Yes. There are many AOCs throughout Bordeaux. What in particular attracted you to Sauternes?
It was an opportunity, not really a way to come to sweet wine, because I didn't know very well those wines. You know, when you learn enology in Bordeaux, perhaps 95% of the teaching are about red wines and dry white wines, and only 5% to sweet wine. Mm-hmm. But I think the opportunity was that my husband had a work near the area of Sauternes, and I said, okay, it would be great if I had a job not far from him, not far and close to the work of my husband. So that's why I was searching a job in Sauternes. And finally, I had the job in Iken. It was an incredible opportunity. Mm-hmm. So something very pragmatic choice. And finally, I learned a lot with the former cellar master at Château Guiraud, and the passion for sweet wine started at that time, of course.
Yes. What does a day in the life of Sandrine Garbay look like? I know you're a very busy woman.
Yes, I have a lot of work, and particularly because since last year our main shareholder gave me the responsibility of the others winery of the group. Mm-hmm. So he is creating a brand called Terre de Nature, with a part of hospitality, because we have 6 hotels in France, a part with gastronomy, and we have 5 different restaurants. One of them is La Mer Brasier in Lyon, at the east of France, which is a 2-stars restaurant, Michelin stars restaurant. So beautiful gastronomy. And the last part is winemaking and wine estate. So we have 4 different wineries, and I now have the responsibilities of the 4 wineries. Wow. So my day starts first of all by a check about the climate data and about the vineyard, in fact, of those different 4 wineries, to be sure that everything is under control. So I always have a technical point with the vineyard manager in Château Guiraud in every morning. Then I have my days take care about administrative aspects, which are not so interesting, but we have to do it. Often at the end of the day I have a tasting with Mathis, our cellar master. So of course it's an important part of my day to take care about the winemaking as well, and the rest of the day for promotion, meeting people like you to speak about our wines, sometimes with journalists, often with our distributors or merchant from Bordeaux. Of course, the sales part is an important part, because we need it, of course, to live and to have a good financial balance. So sales department is a very important department for me, and which was not the case in my former job. So now I take more time about that.
Yeah. So, And you have 2 restaurants?
Yes, in the winery. So the first one was started in 2018, just in the winery, and we have a very simple food but beautiful, and a sort of brasserie, as we call in France. So simple food with local produce, very good one. And we have another one in the village of Sauternes, and the level is higher, and our chief is a beautiful one. I mean, great wine because he has beautiful cuisine and with high level, only local product as well, local food, local supplier, but very refined cooking and very good wine. So we have to try it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Do you have a couple of favorite food and wine pairings? I've heard that Roquefort and Sauternes is very nice.
Yes.
I've yet to try it.
Yes.
But any favorites of yours?
Yes, I think my favorite pairing with sweet wines and with Château Guiraud first growth is probably lobster.
Oh, lobster.
Yes, I love to eat lobster or more modestly perhaps langoustine. It's a beautiful pairing where both lobster and sweet can manage with a very not the wine or the lobster take over, not at all. It's very well balanced food and beautiful one.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying that.
It's not so very common, but I think that seafood is a really good pairing with sweet wines. Not much people know that, but I think that seafood is really the best pairing. You can pair with crab, for example. It's beautiful. With big shrimps, it's beautiful. With fish sometimes as well. So, in fact, those wines paired with many things, but people don't know that. That's why we have to promote such pairing. And I have to say that in our restaurant in the village of Sauternes, we have a big success about pairing with sweet wines and food. And really, we pour a lot of sweet wines in this restaurant because people enjoy the pairing with sweets.
Yes. I'm curious, if you could share a bottle of wine with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
I think it would be just with good friends, really good friends and good food. I think enjoy a great wine is really a question of sharing with people you love, people you feel good with, and I think, yes, I'm someone very simple, and I think only with good friends who are loving wines, of course, would be my best moment to share a bottle of wine. I think so.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
We could have our premium cuvée of dry white wine now.
Perfect.
So the name is Grand Vin Blanc Sec de Château Guiraud. And so it's a cuvée which was created only in 2020, so recently. And we have here the second vintage, which is 2022.
Okay.
So we started with Gilly, which is a blend of 50% Semillon, 50% Sauvignon. But in this wine, we have a majority of Semillon. So 70% Semillon and 30% Sauvignon.
Okay.
And the story is a little bit funny because the first vintage was 2020, and at that time the former general manager of Château Guiraud decided to have a blend of 70% Sauvignon and 30% Semillon. And the first time I blend the 22 vintage, because it was my first vintage here in Château Guiraud, I proposed to the new shareholder a blend of 70% Sauvignon and 30% Semillon. And when he tried it, he told me, "Oh, I don't like this blend so much. I'm a little bit disappointed. So I say, oh my God, what? Because, you know, Sandrine, I don't like so much the Sauvignon. So could you make a blend with the majority of Semillon? And I say, yes, of course, we can do that. And I decided to change totally the blend, to work again. So we did a lot of work. I think it was around 5 different sections of tasting and blend. And finally, we arrived at this blend. And when I gave him to try, he told me, yes, that's what I love. And really, I'm totally fan of this blend with 70% Semillon. And I say, okay, I agree with you. And I have to say that in Château Guiraud, we have beautiful terroir for Semillon variety, which is not so easy in our appellation, even if it's a major grape variety. To make dry white wine with Semillon is not so easy because the skin of Semillon is sometimes a little bit too thick and can give a little bit bitterness to the wines, you know. But here, as we have gravel and sand as soils, the Semillon is a beautiful and has a beautiful expression. So I'm very happy with this blend.
Yes.
Cheers.
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 Very nice.
I like it. It's very delicate to the nose, but the volume of the palate is beautiful. There is a lot of power with a certain softness. It seems to be a little bit sweet. It's not at all. It's totally dry, but there is a sort of softness on the palate that I love.
Yes. And I get a little bit of stone fruit.
Stone fruit?
Like almost peach.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
Yes.
Peach, totally.
Yes. Very luscious.
Yes.
Delicious.
Totally.
So the soil in Sauternes, so it's a mix of different components. Limestone, gravel.
Yes, exactly. We have, the main is limestone, right? But we have also gravel, sand, and no, the main is clay. Sorry,
Clay.
We have a little bit part of limestone, depending on the area and the plots. But the main part is clay. Generally. But here in Château Guiraud, so we are on the highest terrace of the appellation, we have more sand and gravels, a little bit clay deep in the soils, and really poor limestone, not much limestone, but clay and gravel and sand.
Wow.
A lot of different soils. I mean, it's really a mosaic of different soils, and when we blend the grapes from those different soils, of course, it gives more complexity to the wine. That's why we have beautiful wines here.
Yes. So the G label that you have, it focuses on dry white wines, and then you have the other label that's more focused on sweet white wines.
Yes, exactly. We have a big vineyard, so we have 90 hectares of producing vine, and we decided in the middle of 2010 to dedicate 40 hectares to the production of dry white wine. The first reason was to dedicate those plots which are more in the circle around the vineyard, because those plots were near forest. And in that case, the evolution in noble rot with botrytis is not so good, because there are a lot of insects in the forest, and they come to the grapes, and finally you have more grey rot than noble rot in those area around the vineyard. So it was a good opportunity to use those grapes before they damage for the production of dry white wine. And the second reason was to give a good economical balance to the wineries, because you know, since 30 years it's a little bit more to sell, more difficult, to sell sweet wines, and we have to attract new generation of wine consumer to our sweet wines, and starting by the path of dry white wine. We think so. We think that dry white wine are more modern, and it could be a good way to attract young generation to our wineries, and then to give them to try the sweet wine, to explain, and to have probably new wine lovers of sweet wines. So that's why we decided to take that. So now we are the main producers, the main producer of dry white wine in Sauternes. The G represents around 200,000 bottles per year, and the cuvée Grand Vin Blanc Sec, it's only 15,000 bottles. So very tiny production, because we are on the best terroir, and in that case, for this premium cuvée, we go on the best terroir of the winery, and we take only 1 or 2 bunches to the wine, and we let the others involving and infected by noble rot after, you know. So we produce on this best terroir, at the same time the premium cuvée of dry white wine and the premium cuvée of sweet wine. So very interesting for that.
Can you tell us a bit about your winemaking philosophy?
Yes, I think as the enologist, I have to do wine which are I just have to reveal the potential of the grapes and the potential quality of the grapes, with the less adding as possible. I don't know. Adding as you understand?
Yes.
The less intervention as possible, you know. And I learned that with my experience. When I started as an enologist, I knew that I have many tools to do the most technical winemaking you can make, and so on. And with the experience, I learned to use less and less tools, and to just do few things to reveal the quality potential of the grapes. So now we have here really less as possible intervention. Of course, we need to have a beautiful alcoholic fermentation, but only with natural yeasts, for example. We don't use selected yeasts, and we just add a little bit nitrogen to the must, because Botrytis cinerea eats every nitrogen in the must. And if you want to have a good alcoholic fermentation, the yeast need to have a little bit nitrogen. So we add nitrogen, and then that's it. We let the alcoholic fermentation going alone, and during the aging we don't add anything, just a little bit sulfur dioxide to stabilize and to avoid any oxidation of the wines, of course. And finally, very light fining and bottling. So I think, yes, my philosophy is now going in the way, you know, less is more. Yes. The less intervention as possible, but revealing the big potential of the grapes.
What 3 words come to mind when thinking about Château Guiraud?
So probably I would say balance, because we have a very nice management of the sweetness in the wine, not too much, but very well balanced wine. The second would be history, because this story of Château Guiraud is very pregnant here, very present in the philosophy of the chateau. And the third one would be biodiversity, because of the engagement in organic farming and preservation of biodiversity from a long time in Château Guiraud.
Very nice. Cheers.
Cheers.
Can you tell us a bit about this wine?
Yes, so it's the new wine, so the sweet wine we produce in 2023. So it's a barrel sample, just to show you young sweet wines with a very strong character of noble rot. We had a beautiful vintage in 2023 for noble rot wines. The sweets from the area are beautiful, and I was sure that it would be very interesting for you to try a young vintage of Château Guiraud.
Smells delightful.
Yeah.
I get notes of candied pineapple
Yes.
and honey. Delicious.
Yeah.
Sandrine, thank you so much for having us here at Château Guiraud. It's really been a treat.
Thank you very much. You're really welcome, and you can come whenever you want.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.